Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Chiranjit Mishra and today I'm going to present and discuss the news items of February 18 news today. There are four main news and a few quick updates. And the place in the news today is Ireland, Republic of Ireland, not Northern Ireland. So without wasting time, let's quickly go through the headlines. Then we'll discuss each news item one by one. The first news item is about India-France. So the French president came to India. He's still in India. It's his fourth visit since 2018, and many agreements have been signed which want to take the Indo-France relationship to the next level. And now the relationship between India and France, which was previously strategic partnership, has been elevated to special global strategic partnership, the most important news of today. The next news item, main news, is about new guidelines related to external commercial borrowings as laid down by the RBI. The third main news is about artificial intelligence in healthcare. Okay, two initiatives have been launched, SAHI and BODH. SAHI is actually a guideline book and BODH is the platform using which AI models related to healthcare will be developed. The last main news is about India's drone ecosystem. Well, nothing special about drones was in the news, but there was a very important piece of press release by the PIB which comprehensively covers the drone ecosystem in India so far. Let's go through the quick updates. There are close to 8 of them. The first quick update is about a new study which suggests that Indus Valley civilization may be over 8,000 years old. Very important. Okay, earlier we used to think it's 4,500 years old. Now, if this is true, then it will become older than many of the major civilizations like Mesopotamia, Chinese civilization and Egyptian civilization. The next quick update is about phase 1 of the AI-based agricultural scheme called Bharat Vistar, which has been launched in Rajasthan in a pilot mode, in an experimental mode. So numerous news related to AI applications. As you know, the reason is the India Impact AI Summit, which is ongoing. The next quick update is about the United States, which has launched Project Vault, okay, to store critical minerals. Next news is about snowball, a geological phenomenon, okay, talking about the spread of ice age in India nearly 800 million years ago. So recent findings suggest that although there was widespread ice, there were climate fluctuations in between. Next news is about the temporary closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which is a part of the Arabian Sea and connects two water bodies, okay, Gulf of Oman and Persian Gulf. The next news is about a species which is vulnerable as per IUCN red list status, which is loggerhead turtles, and they face multiple challenges due to climate change. Next, about super Earths, okay, those planets which are bigger than Earths but smaller than gaseous planet like Neptune and Uranus. Next, the proposal to construct or have bee corridors, so that because bees are important pollinating agent. So the NHAI, National Highway Authority of India, has said that because road construction is taking place at a very fast rate, it's also important to maintain bee corridors so that pollinators are not affected. And as I said in the beginning, the place in the news today is Ireland. Let's go through the news items. The first news is very important, okay? It's India-France relations, which has been elevated. Earlier it was simple strategic partnership. Now it is special global partnership. Okay, we'll try to understand what is that. So Mr. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, he visited India. He has come to India several times before. This is his fourth visit. Now he came at the right moment when India Impact AI Summit is taking place. And on the sidelines of that, Honorable Prime Minister Modi met with Mr. Macron, and nearly 21 agreements were signed. Let's quickly go through what are they. The most important thing is the elevation of the partnership, okay? So in 1947, when India became independent, the diplomatic relations began, okay? Diplomatic relationship. These are very key words, okay? Anybody whose first choice is IFS or just for international relations, you need to understand the differences between different types of relationship. Diplomatic, okay, establishment of embassies and consulates. Then in 1998, the simple diplomatic relationship was elevated to strategic partnership. Okay, I'm writing it down so that you can easily memorize. Just reading out won't help. Okay, strategic partnership. You may miss the important points. Then in 2026, they have elevated it to special global strategic partnership. Okay, what does that mean? That means strategic partnership means partnership to make sure that technologies, minerals, other things, goods and services which are important to both economies, the trade between the same, including that of defense trade, is maintained in a healthy manner. That is strategic partnership. Okay, that means there are common interests, but now they have inserted the word global. Why? Because the global rules-based order has been affected. Many people believe that the United States is trying to bend the rules-based order. So now both countries have decided that they will make sure that the global rules-based orders remain the same, intact. Global rules-based order. Rules-based मतलब maintaining international relations based on globally agreed to initiatives and charters. ठीक है, जैसे हमारे domestic rules होते हैं the Indian Constitution. So the United Nations and its different agencies and organs make sure that rules-based order remains intact. तो ये एक अहम मुद्दा है. Okay, let's go through. So special global strategic partnership, remember this, a UPSC prelims question may be asked कि India recently agreed to have a special global strategic partnership with which of the following countries? It's France. Okay, इसका है. And as I mentioned in the beginning, 21 outcomes because of this recent meeting. First is defense and security, because France is India's second largest defense supplier. As we know, at number one is your Russia. There is no doubt in that. Okay. Number one, Russia. In terms of defense supplier, number two is France. रशिया से हम लोग nearly 36% डिफेंस इंपोर्ट रिक्वायरमेंट्स इंपोर्ट करते हैं, फ्रांस से 28%. द रिमेनिंग फिर यूएस आ गया, देयर आर अदर कंट्रीज, इजराइल. ओके, सो H-125 helicopters, okay, this is a single engine helicopter which is very versatile. Okay, it can be used to transport troops, materials, and it has the ability to summit world's highest mountain peak, which is Mount Everest. 8,840 meters पे भी ये जा सकता है, which is not that easy. आपको लग रहा होगा it's very easy. No, flights can fly at greater heights, but helicopters, they cannot fly at that heights, and that too in an efficient manner. Not just attaining that height, but also functioning or having, the ability to function normally and effectively. So H-125 helicopter, it's a French company. ठीक है, तो ये एयरबस के साथ, एयरबस इज ऑल्सो यूरोपियन कंपनी, सिंगल इंजन यूटिलिटी हेलीकॉप्टर, द ओनली हेलीकॉप्टर टू लैंड एवरेस्ट समिट. ओके, फिर देन दिस हैमर मिसाइल which can be fitted into fighter airplanes, that is something that India gets from France. So but now, because India believes in indigenization of defense equipments, so rather than directly buying everything from abroad, it wants to get involved in partnerships so that they can co-develop the same product but produced here in India using foreign technology. Okay, hammer is a missile, but H-125 is a helicopter. Similarly, Rafale क्या होता है? Fighter jets. Okay, versatile fighter jets. So tech innovation के केस में क्या क्या हुआ? India France Year of Innovation 2026 launched. Okay, this was about defense and security. India France Innovation Network established, and Indo-French AI and healthcare launched. There is another piece of news related to two more initiatives. Okay, as regards artificial intelligence in healthcare. Critical minerals and energy cooperation. So this is something very important. There is one more piece of news related to the United States initiative called Project Vault. Every country now wants to have a secure procurement of critically important minerals or critical minerals. Okay, those minerals which are important for industrial use, defense use, and also cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, lithium, cobalt, nickel, and all that. So joint declaration on the same, and trade and economic cooperation में double tax avoidance agreement, so that the players which are involved both in France and India, they don't have to pay taxes twice. This is something that hurts the sentiments of business groups. Okay, So that was also amended. Okay, let's take a brief look at the current Indo-France relations, the trade relations. As I said in the just a couple of minutes ago, that France is India's number 2 defense supplier. Okay, strategic partnership established in 1998, mentioned in the beginning. अभी क्या हो गया? अभी 2026 में special global strategic partnership. India's first Western strategic partnership, that is France. Horizon to 2047, because that will mark both 100 years of Indian independence and also 100 years of diplomatic relations between India and France. Guides ties for next 25 years because it was signed in 2023. So roughly modeling the 24 years. Bilateral trade doubled in the past decade. Currently it is, in terms of euro, it is 12.67 billion. 13 point something billion dollars. Okay, ये यूरो में दिया हुआ है. You can remember this figure, or roughly $13 billion. The joint exercises that India conducts regularly with France are 3. Shakti, which is your Indian Army versus Army. Garuda is basically Air Force. Varuna is your Navy. Garuda is actually an ancient mythical bird. That means Air Force. Okay, Garud. Varun means god of rain or ocean. That means Navy. So that way you can memorize all the 3 important exercises. UPI is now accepted in France. I have particularly highlighted this line because a question was asked last year. Okay, UPI is accepted in which of the following countries? Okay, so these points are important from the point of view both prelims and mains, I would say. ये तो prelims के लिए काफी important है. Consider the following countries. How many countries amongst the above are there other than India where international merchant payments are accepted under UPI? So as I said, France तो पता ही चल गया आपको. जर्मनी में अभी तक नहीं हुआ है. I browse on the internet. Okay, नहीं हुआ है. सिंगापुर में हो गया है, बांग्लादेश में नहीं हुआ है. Bhutan was the first country and UAE. First country was Bhutan, remember. They may ask this time. कि France is the first country where UPI is accepted, and not in the whole of France. सिर्फ the important tourist places. If Indians are there, they can use this tool. जैसे आईफिल टावर हो गया, ठीक है, या फिर कुछ और हो गया, लुव्र म्यूजियम हो गया, ठीक है. तो 3, only 3. B is the correct answer. क्वेश्चन आया था जीएस पेपर 2 से लेके, although trade comes under economics, GS paper 3, but please note there is a fair chance that this theme can be covered in GS paper 3. Earlier it was in GS paper 2 about the comparison between French polity and Indian polity. Okay, what can France learn from Indian constitution's approach to secularism? Because of the burqa ban in France, which is something that India does not support. Okay, India maintains positive secularism. सारे धर्म equal हैं. But France में क्या है? The state is absolutely distant from the religions. So that is why you cannot wear religious attire in France. So this is something that France can learn from India. Critically examine the procedures through which the presidents of India and France are elected. Okay, so that time recently, Mr. Macron got elected for the 2nd time. That's why it was asked. Okay, this time trade के बारे में पूछा सकता. Next important news is about 2 AI related initiatives, because अभी पूरा full spree में चल रहा है. The India AI Impact Summit, which will end on February 20th. So many initiatives are being taken in collaboration with foreign countries and also absolutely indigenous initiatives. So SAHI and BODH, ये जो हैं दोनों, SAHI is actually an acronym, both are acronyms. SAHI is about a guideline, and both these initiatives are related to AI in healthcare. Questions have been asked. AI in healthcare. ये दोनों initiatives. SAHI is like a guideline how to use AI in healthcare, taking into consideration ethics, okay, morality, everything, or privacy. SAHI is a set of guidelines. BODH is the BODH is the platform using which AI models will be trained, because AI models will be trained using health related data, and as you know, India is very concerned about privacy or health related documents and details. It can be very personal and private. So to ensure that, SAHI is there, the right guidelines, and privacy part is going to be dealt with by both. ओके इतना जानना काफ़ी है बिकॉज मेंस में पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चंस कुछ पूछा नहीं जाएगा, स्टिल वी हैव टू कवर. Launched at India AI Impact Summit, Strategy for Artificial Intelligence in Healthcare. That is the full form of SAHI. So, National Framework for Health AI Integration, okay, guides responsible AI adoption in healthcare. This is something that the Prime Minister of India has always laid emphasis on. Ki it should be responsible and it should give due respect to privacy. Vision safe, ethical, inclusive AI usage. You can remember these keywords to insert in ethics, in governance related questions. Safe, ethical, and inclusive. Promotes evidence-based AI deployment. Okay, that means you need to have data that are backed by proper researches. और इसमें होता क्या है, you know that for example in telehospitals where remotely doctors can operate on patients, so and they need a lot of data. When patients are critical, 12 doctors, they actually put their heads together. So now AI can actually borrow intelligence and wisdom or expertise from different doctors. You don't need to have a team of 10 to 12 doctors. They can be involved in other projects or other operations. Benchmarking open data platform for health AI, that is BODH. Okay, it has been developed by IIT Kanpur and NHA, National Health Authority. Privacy preserving benchmarking platform, as I said in the beginning. ठीक है, बस इतना ही है, इसमें और कुछ जानने वाला है नहीं. तो क्वेश्चन अगर आता है सही और बोथ किसके साथ रिलेटेड है, यू विल नो AI in healthcare. Other AI related initiatives can centers of excellence for AI established. That means where teams with a lot of expertise in the field of AI will boost the implementation of AI in healthcare. Okay, that means they have the resources, funds, everything to conduct researches. AIMS Delhi, PGIMR, AIMS Rishikesh lead. AI deployment follows ICMR, that is Indian Council for Medical Research Guidelines 2023. These are the initiatives that have been already taken to make sure that AI implementation in the field of healthcare in India is properly guided. There was a question in 2023. Introduce the concept of artificial intelligence. What is that? As you know, what is that? It's actually a system of algorithms which mimics human intelligence to make sure that decisions are taken easily and effectively and with minimum amount of time. How does AI help clinical diagnosis? Do you perceive any threat to privacy of the individual in the use of AI in healthcare? Now you have more points to add because now it is 2026. You can add SAHI and both. The third news is about the updated guidelines related to external commercial borrowing by the RBI. As that is the pertinent body, that is the body which has authority as regards foreign exchange. Okay, here basically the first question that comes to one mind is what is ECB? External commercial borrowing. The name is very suggestive. Okay, and this is something that needs understanding, clarity. सही बोध में तो समझना है, बस रट्टा मारना है आपको. Okay, with limited you can say road based learning, but here you have to understand. External means abroad, बाहर से आ रहा है कुछ, है ना. Commercial means, see here we are differentiating commercial from government. That means private enterprises. Okay, borrowing means udhar. That means Indian companies borrowing from abroad. That is the meaning of external commercial borrowing, and that comes under capital account. As you know, हम BOP पढ़ते थे, balance of payments. Okay, a country's transactions with all the countries of the world. So BOP is always zero. It's adjusted to zero. Even if it's not zero, we have to manipulate to bring it to zero. है ना, आप पढ़े होंगे इकोनॉमिक्स में. First is your capital account, those account which can affect the ownership of assets, and दूसरा हो गया current account. करंट अकाउंट में आपका ट्रेड हो गया, ठीक है, इंपोर्ट एंड एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. इसके अंदर आता है FDI, आइदर इन्वेस्टमेंट और बोरोइंग. सो ECB फॉर्म्स एन इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ योर कैपिटल अकाउंट बिकॉज ECB आने से ओनरशिप वाला स्टेटस अफेक्ट हो सकता है ना. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ अ कंपनी इज बोरोइंग समथिंग फ्रॉम अब्रॉड, दैट मीन्स इट्स डेट पोर्टफोलियो इज गोइंग टू चेंज. एंड समटाइम्स व्हेन यू बोरो फ्रॉम एन एंटिटी एंड यू आर नॉट इन अ पोजिशन टू रिपे द लोन, आप उधार लिए हैं किसी से और आप अगर आपको लगता है कि यू आर नॉट इन अ पोजीशन टू रिपे द लोन एंड यू आर अ कंपनी, आप बोलोगे सॉरी आई वोंट बी एबल टू रिपे द लोन बट आई हैव वन ऑप्शन फॉर यू. यू कैन बिकम एन ओनर ऑफ दिस कंपनी. आई विल शेयर स्टॉक्स. वो डेट जो हो जाएगा वो इक्विटी में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. ओके, दैट मीन्स देयर इज अ फेयर चांस इट कैन अफेक्ट योर ओनरशिप पोर्टफोलियो. सो दैट्स व्हाई external commercial borrowing comes under capital account. हो गया. Why was there a need to update the guidelines? See, when external currencies come into India or leave India, they affect the Indian economy a lot. Whenever there is a requirement of dollars, okay, just like in a couple of days ago we discussed outward remittance. That means we are going to use rupee to take dollars to send abroad. That will depreciate the currency. Whenever dollar comes into India, okay, because investors are going to invest in Indian currency, they are going to, तो डॉलर किसके पास आ जाएगा ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा? आरबीआई के पास आ जाएगा, बिकॉज इंडियन करेंसी इज गोइंग टू फ्लो इनटू इंडियन इकोनॉमी. इन अ वे इट appreciates the foreign currency, which is good, and it will also boost India's forex reserve. Okay, whenever dollar flows into our country, every time it goes out of country, there is a fair chance that Indian currency will depreciate. But whenever dollar enters Indian economy, Indian currency appreciates. Okay, but again there is a fear. If dollars come into India, dollar flow हो रहा है. Okay, dollar flow होते जा रहा है. ये इंडिया है या फॉरेन मार्केट से. ओके, एंड इन लार्ज अमाउंट. These are going to stay there for a temporary period. But if there is some uncertainty in Indian economy, immediately the capital will go out. All those who invested in Indian economy, in businesses, they will take their money back. It's called capital flight. There was a question on this. And capital flight is something which is very fearful. That is why the RBI has to intervene. कितना डॉलर अंदर आ रहा है, कितना बाहर जा रहा है. And if capital flight takes place, businesses will come to a halt. Okay, स्टॉक मार्केट में चहल पहल मचल जाएगा. ठीक है. So that's why, to make sure that India has enough cushion as regards these external shocks, RBI intervenes in foreign exchange management. That's why in 1999 an act came into being which is called FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. Okay, इसके तहत RBI FDI guidelines, external commercial guidelines सारा control करता है. And under this 99 guideline, this act was passed by the parliament, not RBI, because RBI does not have the power to enact a bill. Bills are passed, they are converted into acts in the parliament. Under this act, RBI has the power to set guidelines. Okay, so एक तरह से bylaw हो गया guidelines. The last guidelines were updated in 2018 as regards external commercial borrowing. अभी 2026, 8 साल के बाद again updated. क्या क्या updation हुआ है? So the updates have been with regard to boost the growth of businesses in India. Now the borrowing limit has been raised. आप ज़्यादा borrow कर सकते हैं बाहर से. And there was also a clause added कि whatever money you're going to borrow from abroad, there are certain restrictions in how you're going to use that money. आप पैसा बाहर से लेके डॉलर ला के किस में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हो, उस पर भी रिस्ट्रिक्शन था. थोड़ा उस पर कमी हो गया. That means it has been eased. Okay, that means more freedom has been given to borrowers. एक तो हो गया लिमिट बढ़ गया, चेंज हो गया. दूसरा हो गया किस एंड यूज, उसका यूज क्या करने वाले हो. साथ में while repaying interest, there was a limit, a ceiling that has also been eased. So let's quickly go through क्या क्या changes हुए हैं. Now you have understood. Now we'll just, for your easy memorization, we'll go through the points one by one. External commercial borrowings, ECB's framework, RBI updated ECB guidelines 2026. Okay, as I said, ये 2018 में लास्ट हुआ था, अभी 26 में हो गया. Modified 2018 borrowing regulations under FEMA Act. Key changes हो गए. Automatic root cap raised to $1 billion or 300% of the net worth. Very important to understand. If there is a company which has a net worth क्या होता है basically, simply अगर बोलेंगे, is equal to assets minus liabilities of that company, है ना. और अगर assets उसका 500 मिलियन है, liability उसका 100 मिलियन है, तो कितना हो गया? $400 मिलियन का कंपनी है वो, उसका नेटवर्थ. इसका 300% कितना हो गया? 300 मीन्स 1200, है ना. 100% इसका 400, 200% 800. तो यहां तक के लिमिट का वो ले सकता है. Whichever is higher, 300% or $1 billion. So this is $1.12 million हो गया, है ना. That means $1.2 billion, whichever is higher. That means this company is eligible to borrow through automatic route and approval route, just like your FDI. Automatic route means you don't have to take RBI's permission to borrow. Okay, and how much it can borrow? $1.2 billion. Why? Its net worth is $400 million. इससे ज़्यादा अगर if you want to borrow, you can borrow, but you have to take RBI's approval. That is called approval route. Okay. पहले कम था, अभी इसको बढ़ा दिया है. It was in, I think it was $750 million. अभी इसको $1 billion कर दिया. अगर किसी कंपनी का नेटवर्थ है 200 मिलियन डॉलर, तो उसका 300% कितना होगा? $600 million. But that company can borrow $1 billion. Because either 300% of your net worth or 1 billion, whichever is higher. इस केस में 1.2 billion higher था, इसलिए उतना. इस केस में इसका net worth is according to its net worth, it does not exceed $1 billion, but $1 billion इससे maximum है ना? Whichever is higher. तो अगर किसी का net worth 200 million है, it can easily borrow 1 billion. अगर किसी का net worth 400 million है, it can borrow 1.2 billion. All in cost ceiling removed. This ceiling, which is called all-in cost ceiling, it was related to repayment of interest. That means now, अगर आप whenever you borrow, dollar comes in. When you repay, dollar goes out. इस पे भी ceiling था कि एक टाइम पे बहुत डॉलर्स बाहर ना चले जाए. Simply आपको समझा रहा हूँ. That ceiling has been removed. Why? Because when you borrow loan, आप $100 मान लीजिए $100 उधार ले रहे हैं, ठीक है? Let's make it very clear. $100. You have to pay $10 for processing fee, some guarantee fee ₹5. इसका मतलब $100 के लिए आपको 115 लेना पड़ेगा. या फिर अगर $100 आप ले रहे हैं, इसमें से आपका एग्जैक्ट लोन होगा $90. अदर प्रोसेसिंग फी वगैरह जाता है. ओके, तो ये सब होता है जब पे करते हो आप, है ना? आप जब रिपे करते हो, देन ऑल्सो यू पे लॉट्स ऑफ फीस. RBI had set some X%. इससे ज़्यादा पे नहीं कर सकते थे. That was the rule before. Now it has been removed. Okay, now it has been removed. क्योंकि ये जो एब्सोल्यूट सीलिंग था वो एक अड़चन था, ऑब्स्टिकल था. सो नाउ दे हैव ग्रेटर फ्रीडम. रिपेमेंट अगर करते हैं, दे कैन पे हायर लोन्स, बिकॉज व्हेन यू पे योर लोन्स फास्टर एंड हायर, the foreign investors, creditors, they also get very happy, and in future also you can borrow from them. Uniform minimum average maturity period. See, RBI is very worried about short term investments or borrowing. तुरंत money आया, तुरंत चला गया. It can send a lot of shocks to the Indian market. To get rid of that, अभी क्या कर दिया? Average period 3 years कर दिया. This is something which is beneficial for Indian economy. कि if you want to borrow, have that money for 3 years. After that, you have to pay the interest. You have to pay the loan back. 3 years कर दिया. But for manufacturing sector, it is allowed. They can borrow money which maturity period, the maturity period of which is less than 3 years. Only for manufacturing sector. Okay. This is for overall all the sectors, but less than 3 years for manufacturing. You can note it down. Then non-individual resident entities eligible. Okay, this is a new addition. Again, strict adherence to arm's length requirement, because whenever you take loans or borrow money, just to flout rules, what people used to do earlier, अगर आप अपने ही entity, for example, I also want to invest in a company on which I have some stake. मैं अभी फॉरेन में established हूँ और इंडिया में मेरा एक ब्रांच है. I am lending that Indian branch of mine some money. तो I have a tendency, मैं थोड़ा सा फ्लाउट कर सकता हूँ उसको. क्या करके? अगर उस पर टैक्स लगता है या उस पर कुछ इंटरेस्ट लगता है, थोड़ा तोड़ मरोड़ कर सकता हूँ. तो आर्म्स लेंथ रिक्वायरमेंट ये करता है कि यू हैव टू ट्रीट योर कंपनी एज एनी अदर रिमोट कंपनी टू विच यू नॉट रिलेटेड. ठीक है, ये हमने पढ़ा था जो बेस इरोजन एंड प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग में भी. ठीक है, कंपनीज दे ट्राई टू फ्लाउट रूल्स. ओके, allowing conversion into equity. If, as I said in the beginning, if you have borrowed money, you are an Indian company and you're not in a position to pay back the amount that you borrowed, you can say, dear creditor, so because I'm not in a position to pay you the money, I'll make you a shareholder of my company. ठीक है, आप उसका डेट जो है वो इक्विटी में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. ठीक है, so these are the important points. There are several guidelines, but these are the important ones that you have to memorize for prelims and mains. Now India's drone ecosystem, the last main news, okay, the last main news. So there was nothing particular about this क्या बोलते हैं drones in India. There was a special press release by PIB, and that very comprehensively covered the drone market in India. What is the current status? Okay, as you know, drones, the official term that we use for drones is unmanned aerial vehicles, UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle. Okay, so that is the technical term. Drones is the informal. What unmanned aerial vehicles are informally called. Okay, so what is the status of drone? As you know, drones are managed just like normal aircrafts. There are guidelines that have to be followed because of security reasons. Because if you are flying drones and you are trying to trespass into sensitive areas, then you'll be penalized. Okay, and there are different types of drones: nano drones, micro drones, mega drones. Let's quickly go through the various types of drones depending upon their usages and the guidelines that we follow here in India. Okay, इसका कोई main reason नहीं है, but it's very important. A question can be asked. It has been asked in prelims as regards applications, but guidelines related to drones have not yet been covered. It is actually a good topic for your mains exam because drones were used by the Indian Armed Forces during Operation Sindoor. Okay, as of 2026, India has built a regulated drone ecosystem with 38,500 plus registered drones. So nano drones in India are not registered. Those drones which are less than 250 grams. इसका मतलब ये जो registered हुए हैं, these are all non-nano drones with UIN, unique identification number. The next is about 39,890 DGC certified remote pilots. Not only drones are registered, but it's important that pilots who remotely control the drones, they're also registered. 244 approved training organizations. You can, if you don't remember the exact number, at least know it's close to 40,000. This much you can remember. Okay, including 500 plus under Namo Drone Didi initiative to enhance farm productivity and livelihoods. Okay, that means drones are heavily used in agriculture. Then drones, uses of drones, survey of villages and mapping with improvised technology in village areas, and Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay, because for surveillance you can easily get the top aerial view, so drones are very helpful. You don't have to walk from field to field and take measurements. Satellite imagery and drones are very important. Okay, defense drones, Operation Sindoor, as I mentioned. Different types of drones. The first is surveillance and reconnaissance drones. That means they're used for study of terrains, and if questions are asked, there is a drone type of drone, class of drones called herons, which is made by Israel, and these two drones are by Indian government. Heron is by Israel. There is another variant of Heron which is called Heron Tipi, which is used for armed and combat drone. That means they can easily drop bombs, which really happened in Operation Sindoor also. DRDO's Ghatak is also a combat drone. Loitering munitions means drones that they will simply drop and burst. Here, combat drones, they are not going to burst, they are just going to drop bombs. Loitering munitions means they themselves are bombs. Once they find an enemy target, they will explode. Nagastra and Warmate. Then swarm drones, which are very dangerous. If you want to target an individual or an establishment, you can send swarm drones. Using sensors, they will reach that place, and they're very difficult to detect and beat. There's so many in number that India is also planning to have its own anti-swarm drones technology. Okay, because they can create a lot of trouble. A single drone is difficult to detect. Just imagine if there are drones which are the size of flies. Okay, but they have the potential to function as bullets. Anything can happen. Okay, so drone rules. What are the various steps that have been taken to promote the manufacture and use of drones in India? First is Drone Rules 2021 and Amendment Rules 2022 and 23. It has significantly liberalized India's drone ecosystem. Now you can see there are small players, MSMEs involved in drone manufacturing, okay, to boost production of drones in India. Nearly 90% of Indian airspace was declared a green zone for drone operations, allowing flights up to 400 feet. Okay, so this is related to drone functioning also. There are three types of zones. One is your green zone where there are no, any drone can fly at the height of 400 meters, but beyond that you need permission. Yellow zone means those zones which lie 5 kilometers outside any airport or other sensitive areas. Here, like there are certain restrictions, but still you can use taking permission. But red zones means there is, sorry, yellow zones means 8 to 12 kilometers. यहाँ तक आप उड़ा सकते हो with some permission. Red zone means no flying allowed. Very close to an airport or 5 kilometers उसके radius आसपास आप नहीं उड़ा सकते, ठीक है. Production linked incentive, okay, this is for drone manufacturers, this is for drone operation, this is for drone manufacturing, okay. GST rationalization, again GST rate were reduced to 5%, replacing earlier 18% and 28%. Then digital sky portal, this is for registration of drones. Nano drones in India currently are not registered, less than 250 grams, okay. A question was asked in 2020 prelims. Application of drones. At present level of technology, which of the above activities can be successfully carried out by using drones? All the three are correct. Place in the news is Ireland. A couple of days ago, we covered United Kingdom, in which Northern Ireland was a part. But if you use Northern Ireland, ye wala part, if you can see, the remaining is a separate country. Northern Ireland along with Great Britain formed your UK. This part in brown, light brown, is your Republic of Ireland, the capital of which is Dublin. Okay, Dublin. So why it was in the news? Because of some trade deals between India and Ireland, related to upgrading relations as regards manufacturing technology, ICT, information and communication technology. But you don't need to remember that. You just need to know the geographical importance of Ireland. Okay, what are the different water bodies surrounding Ireland? Atlantic Ocean, as you can see, the big ocean. Then Irish Sea, which is somewhere here, okay, between UK and Ireland, Great Britain and Ireland. Then your Celtic Sea, which is your close to this part. It's not Celtic, it's Celtic. I think there are languages also, family of languages, which are called Celtic languages. Longest river is your river Shannon, and it's called Republic of Ireland, unlike this part which is called Northern Ireland. Now let's quickly go through the quick updates. The first quick update is very interesting, that Indus Valley civilization may be the world's oldest civilization, but further researches are required. So there is a site here in Haryana, okay, apart from there are many important Indus Valley sites here in Haryana, as you know, okay, Rakhigadi is one of that, Banavali, but this is Bhirana, which is located in your northern Haryana, and it falls under the Fatehabad district. Okay, I forgot to mention it here, Fatehabad district. It was excavated by L.S. Rao. I think the excavation started in 2003. But once excavation is done, researches are conducted on the artifacts collected from the sites. As per that, and it is situated in the Ghagar-Hakar region. Okay, because most of the Indus Valley sites in Pakistan are located close to your Indus River or its tributaries. This is situated close to the Paleo channel, that means old channels, old rivers of Ghagar river. This claim needs cross verification, okay, but if that is true, then it will be 8,000 years old, Indus Valley, okay. The title is hidden, I'm sure you cannot see it, okay. And if it's true, it will be older than all these old civilizations of the world, like Mesopotamia, Chinese and Egyptian. Because currently we believe that the mature Harappan phase started in 2600 BC and ended in 1900 BC. Before that, it was the old Harappan civilization. It was not civilization, it was old Harappan culture that started from your 3300 BC and ended in around 2600 BC. When started the mature Harappan phase, okay. And it was a bronze civilization, not a Chalcolithic culture, okay. That means the people knew how to mix copper with tin. Bharat Vistar agriculture scheme launched on a pilot basis. It has been launched by the Department of Agriculture, and the use is Department of Agriculture, integration of AI into agriculture to improve its productivity using precision farming and everything. It has been initiated on a pilot basis. Pilot मतलब अभी full phase में नहीं हुआ. First it will be done on an experimental mode. If it succeeds, if it becomes successful, then it will be replicated across the country. So which state was chosen? It was Rajasthan was chosen. कुछ और जानना इसमें है ही नहीं. अगर आता है विस्तार AI, it's used in healthcare, agriculture, sports, or say defense. You'll say agriculture. Project Vault is something very important. Many themes are repeated: critical minerals, artificial intelligence. Okay, because the biggest fear in today's world is supply chain disruptions, because REE and important minerals are dominated by China. China has a huge reserve of all the important minerals, especially critical minerals, and that's why every country wants to avoid having China as the only exporting nation. I mean, if they import critical minerals, that's why United States wants to create a strategic reserve जिसमें वो store करके रखेगा critical minerals. Okay, and that project is going to cost around $12 billion, and it will be a public-private management, just like here in India. Okay, backed by US government and export-import bank funding. Similar structure. We also have an export-import bank, Exim Bank in India. Help reduce dependency on China's supply chain dominance. Okay. So if prelims में आता Project Vault किसका initiative है? To serve as a strategic reserve of critical minerals, the United States. Okay. Snowball Earth global glaciation phase. Now, there is no particular reason why this is in the news, because snowballing of Earth refers to the fact that the whole of the Earth was covered with ice sheets, even the tropical parts of India, tropical parts of the Earth, very close to equator. That means Earth in a way became a snowball, and that happened close to 700 billion years ago. 700 MA, we say in geology, mega annum, and that was before the Cambrian phase started. That means pre-Cambrian. I hope you all remember the geological time scale. We have eons, which are bigger than era, bigger than period. Eon, era, period, then your age, then your epoch, then age. So we are talking about Proterozoic eon, this time period, Proterozoic eon, but towards the end of Proterozoic. Okay, that means late Proterozoic period, and it's called Cryogenian period. Okay, the eon is Proterozoic, okay, and the era is late Proterozoic, but period that comes under is Cryogenian. So although the whole of the Earth was covered with ice, still there were climate fluctuations. This is the recent finding, and that is why it was in the news. And because there were several glaciation phases and interglacial phases. That means a period of freezing, then a period of thawing. So periods of freezing were actually interspersed with period of thawing. पहले हुआ बर्फ जमा हुआ, उसके बाद वो पिघला, ठीक है? That means in a zigzag fashion. So the first melting happened because of volcanic eruptions, because many gases they came out, they emerged, and that led to global warming, because of which the snows and ice sheets started to melt. Okay, so cryogenian period में हुआ, फिर से again there was a period of glaciation, then deglaciation, ऐसा चलता रहा. So the last glaciation period was over in Holocene, when Holocene period started. जब से modern human or civilization started, it started with the end of Pleistocene and the beginning of Holocene. Okay, I'm sorry. Next is Iran drills close Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is actually, as you can see, it better look at the map. It connects two water bodies in the Arabian Sea, Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman. So ये वाला जो part red, यहाँ पे जो a strait is a water body which connects two different water bodies. Okay, इसको ईरान में आता है because this is Iran. इसने इसको temporarily बंद कर दिया था, which is very risky for global trade because many oil companies, oil vessels pass through that, and the reason was strategic. The mock drills that were conducted because Iran is actually undergoing a very civil war-like situation, and the United States has opposed it, that please don't kill your own people. And there is a high chance, and the chance was very high actually, now it has come down, that there may be war between Iran and US. And Iran has several enemies in the region, because Iran is a Shia dominated country and the other countries are Sunni dominated. That is why mock drills are very important to keep the citizens ready in the case of an impending war. Climate threats to loggerhead turtles. It's a type of turtle. Okay, that means turtles are found in oceans, unlike tortoises, which are normally amphibians. Okay, and this turtle has vulnerable IUCN status, Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. Whenever you come across any species in the news, try to remember its IUCN status. Okay, critically endangered hai ya vulnerable hai. It's found in Indian, Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. Reason kya hai? Habitat destruction, sea level rise, which is affecting its nesting sites, because turtles, they come to coast to lay eggs, just like olive ridley, which comes to Odisha and the eastern shoreline. So because sea level is rising, that means there is coastal erosion or coastal submergence, जिसके कारण the nesting sites are affected. NHI develops bee corridors initiative. Bee corridors means bees are pollinators. They play a very important role in the flowering of plants and thus their fructification. And bees are responsible for total of 1/3 of total world's food production. Very important line. जितने भी खाने होते हैं 1/3 जो food production होता है उसका काम है bees. They move from plant to plant, okay, and the reproductive parts get engaged in production of you can say floration and then fructification. NHAI based initiative इसलिए because जब रास्ते बनते हैं we have to clear forests, and bees they depend upon, they move from flower to flower, plant to plant. That means pollinating activities are affected. So it's very important whenever there is a national highway, ये national highway है, you need to have a long stretch of trees and grass. ये green corridor बनेंगे ताकि those trees which are beneficial for the population of bees. Okay, so this is a good initiative by NHAI, not Environmental Ministry, but Ministry of Road Transport. Highway-based biodiversity initiative, green stretched along highways. That is what bee corridors are. They support pollinator conservation and promotes flowering plant plantations. Okay. The next news is about cosmology, or you can say astronomy, not cosmology, astronomy. So it's about super Earths, because ever since the early 1990s, we have been into looking for planets which are similar to Earth. Okay, similar to Earth, similarly situated. But super Earths are those planets which are bigger than Earth, normally 2 से 10 Earth mass. Earth का close to mass कितना है? 6 × 10⁻24 kgs. Okay, इसका मतलब होगा या तो 12 से लेके 60 × 10⁻12 kgs. Not kilometer, ये kg. ठीक है. Common in other planetary systems may retain thick atmosphere. Okay, because in our solar system, apart from Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, all other are gaseous planets. And whenever there is a density difference, it is very common to have normal atmosphere also, because atmosphere ultimately depend किस पे करता है? The gravity of the planet. Okay, so researchers related to super Earths are going to help us to understand how atmospheres are formed. Okay, and also related to habitability in other planets. Potential clues to habitability important for planet formation studies. Just this much is enough. Super Earths वो हैं. You need to remember this range. 2 Earth mass से लेकर 10 Earth mass. Okay, and 1 Earth mass is equal to 6 × 10⁻24 kgs. I had written it earlier. So we have reached the end. Now you can go through the digital current affairs, which is a good initiative by VisionIAS to enrich your current affairs knowledge. And now 6 questions will flash on a screen. Do take them. Till then, wish you all the very best.